The big meeting room on the space station was full of strange sounds. Aliens from 12 different worlds sat around a huge table, talking and laughing. Their voices made weird noises. Some clicked, some buzzed, some made musical sounds. But they all seemed very happy about something. Ambassador Vex Collar stood up at the front of the room. He was tall and thin, with skin that looked like it was made of crystal. His arms sparkled under the bright lights as he moved them around. He had a big smile on his face, the kind of smile people get when they think something is very funny. "My friends," he said in a voice that sounded like he was talking to little children, "today I have the most amusing report to share with you all." The room got quiet, but Jake Morrison could still hear some aliens making soft laughing sounds. Jake sat in a small glass box at the back of the room with Amy Foster. They were the only two humans allowed to watch these meetings. Jake wore his best military uniform, but he felt very small, surrounded by all these powerful aliens. "I want to tell you about the creatures called humans," Vex Collar continued. "They live on a little blue planet they call Earth." As soon as he said the word humans, the whole room exploded with laughter. The sound was terrible, like 100 different animals all making noise at once. Some aliens slapped the table with their hands or tentacles. Others made high-pitched squeaking sounds. Jake felt his face get hot with anger. Next to him, Amy gripped her notebook so hard her knuckles turned white. She was writing down everything the alien said, but Jake could see her hand shaking. "These humans," Vex Collar said, waiting for the laughter to die down, "are the most backward species we have ever found. They still use fire to make their spaceships fly. Fire! Can you believe it?" More laughter filled the room. A big alien with tentacles instead of arms waved them around like he was dancing. "Fire," he repeated. "What's next? Will they use rocks and sticks to build their cities?" "Oh, but it gets better," Vex Collar said, his crystal skin glowing brighter with excitement. "Their biggest space station is smaller than my personal shuttle, and they call it a great achievement." Jake wanted to stand up and shout at them, but he knew he couldn't. Earth had worked very hard to get permission for humans to watch these meetings. If he caused trouble, they might never be allowed back. An alien that looked like a giant bug stood up. She had big black eyes and sharp teeth. "Do they still fight wars with each other?" she asked. "Every day," Vex Collar replied. "They shoot metal bullets at each other." Metal bullets. They haven't even learned to use energy weapons yet. The bug. Alien clicked her teeth together, which Jake's translator said meant she was laughing. "How primitive. Our children learn to use plasma weapons in their first year of school." "Speaking of primitive," said another alien, this one covered in scars and wearing heavy armor. Jake recognized him as General Crossback from the Draknari Empire. He was famous for destroying entire planets that didn't obey his orders. "Tell us about their military," the general said. "Surely they must have some kind of army?" Vex Collar's smile got even bigger. "Oh, they do. They have boats that float on water, actual water, and they have flying machines that need air to work. In space, they're completely helpless." "What about their space weapons?" asked a voice from the back. "They have a few satellites with simple rockets," Vex Collar said, waving his hand like he was brushing away a fly. "Nothing that could hurt even our oldest, weakest ships." Jake felt his phone buzz quietly in his pocket. He looked down and saw a message from Admiral Helen Rodriguez back on Earth. It was just 2 words. "Phase ready." Jake typed back quickly, still listening. "The funniest part," Vex Collar was saying, "is that these humans actually think they might join us someday. They dream of traveling to other stars, of making friends with other species, of becoming part of our great galactic community." The room exploded with laughter again. Some aliens were laughing so hard they were crying. Others were holding their stomachs like they were in pain from laughing too much. As if, said the tentacle alien, a species that can barely leave their own planet could ever be useful to us. Exactly, Vex Collar agreed. What could they possibly offer us? They know. Nothing about real science, nothing about advanced technology, nothing about how the galaxy really works. General Crossvac leaned forward in his chair. His armor made scary metal sounds as he moved. Have they made any threats? Any demands? Nothing we need to worry about, Vex Collar said. They send us polite messages asking for friendship. They share their simple discoveries with us, hoping we'll be impressed. It's really quite sweet, in a pathetic sort of way. What do they want most? Asked the bug alien. To be taken seriously, Vex Collar said. They want us to treat them like equals. They want a seat at this very table. Can you imagine? These creatures who still use chemical rockets want to sit with us and make decisions about the galaxy. The laughter this time was so loud that Jake could feel it in his chest. He looked at Amy, who had stopped writing and was just staring at the aliens with a look of pure hatred on her face. Jake's phone buzzed again. This time the message was longer. Phase 1 complete. Observers report back. Time to show them what we really are. Jake looked around the room at all the laughing aliens. They had no idea what was coming. For months, they had been talking about humans like they were pets or insects. They made jokes about human technology and human dreams. They treated Earth like it was a zoo full of amusing animals. But Jake knew something they didn't. While they had been laughing, humans had been working. While they had been making jokes, humans had been building. While they had been feeling superior, humans had been watching and learning and preparing. Very soon, these aliens would stop laughing. Very soon, they would learn that underestimating humans was the biggest mistake they had ever made. Jake typed one word back to Admiral Rodriguez. Ready. The show was about to begin. Colonel Ryan Murphy stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the big screen in front of him. The screen showed tiny lights in the distance. Those lights were the alien space station, where all the important aliens were having their meeting. The same meeting where they were laughing at humans, right? Now, Ryan's ship had been sitting in this exact spot for 3 whole months. Every day, alien ships flew past them. Every day, alien sensors swept through the area looking for anything unusual. But none of them saw Ryan's ship. To them, there was nothing here but empty space. Sir, all systems are working perfectly, said Lisa Park from her control station. She was the ship's chief engineer, and she knew every bolt and wire in the whole vessel. The invisibility field is holding steady. We're completely hidden. Ryan nodded, but didn't smile. The ship he commanded was called the Shadow Strike, and it was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was huge, almost 2 kilometers long from front to back. But right now, it was totally invisible. The aliens had no idea it was there. Any word from our people on the station? Ryan asked. Tony Bell turned around from his communications desk. Captain Morrison says the aliens are still making fun of us, sir. Sounds like they're really enjoying themselves. Good, Ryan said quietly. Let them laugh. They won't be laughing much longer. The Shadow Strike had been built in secret. While the aliens thought humans were still using simple rockets, Earth's scientists and engineers had been working day and night for 15 years. They built the ship in hidden factories behind Jupiter, where the alien spy satellites couldn't see them. Dr. Kate Williams looked up from her science station. Sir, I'm picking up some interesting readings from the station. The Draknari have brought one of their big warships. It's the same type they used to destroy that planet last year. Ryan's face got hard. The Draknari were known throughout the galaxy as destroyers. If they didn't like a species, they would wipe them out completely. No one had ever been able to stop them. Sir, Tony called out, We're getting a message from Earth. Admiral Rodriguez wants to know if we're ready for the next phase. Ryan walked to the center of the bridge and looked at each of his crew members. These were the best people Earth had to offer. They were all volunteers who knew that today might be the day that changed everything for the human race. Tell the Admiral we're ready for Phase 2, Ryan said, and get me a connection to Captain Morrison on the station. The communication system crackled, and then Jake Morrison's voice came through clearly. Morrison here. Jake, how are things going over there? Oh, they're having a wonderful time, Ryan. Right now they're debating whether humans are more like bugs or germs. Perfect. We'll be knocking on their door in 30 minutes. Make sure you and Amy are ready. We'll be ready. Morrison out. Ryan turned to his weapons officer. Ben Hayes, bring all weapons online. Full battle readiness, but keep everything hidden under the invisibility field. Ben's fingers moved quickly over his controls. Yes, sir. All torpedo tubes loaded and ready. Energy cannons charging. Defense systems armed and ready. Dr. Williams whistled softly as she looked at her readings. Sir, our weapons are more powerful than everything that station has put together. That's exactly what we wanted, Ryan replied. Helm, prepare to drop the invisibility field. We're about to teach the galaxy that humans are nobody's joke. The bridge became very quiet, except for the soft humming of the ship's engines. In 30 minutes, everything would change. The aliens would learn that they had made a terrible mistake. For months, the Shadow Strike had been watching and listening. They had recorded every conversation, every plan, every threat the aliens had made against Earth. They knew exactly what each alien species was capable of, and they knew their weaknesses too. Sir, Dr. Williams said, all stealth systems are ready to disengage on your command. Once we drop the field, every sensor in the galaxy will be able to see us. That's the point, Doctor, Ryan said. We want them to see us. We want them to know that everything they thought about humans was wrong. The ship's computer announced in a calm voice, 20 minutes until stealth field disengagement. Ryan thought about all the times aliens had laughed at human technology. They thought human spaceships were toys. They thought human weapons were primitive. They thought humans were weak and stupid. Soon they would learn the truth. Humans had been pretending to be weak while they built the most advanced warship the galaxy had ever seen. They had let the aliens think they were stupid while they developed technology that made alien science look like child's play. 15 minutes until stealth field disengagement, the computer announced. Ben Hayes looked up from his weapons console. Sir, should I target their weapon systems? Not yet, Ryan said. First, we let them see us. And we show them what we can do. We want them to understand that this isn't just one ship. This is the future of human space power. 10 minutes until stealth field disengagement. Ryan activated the ship's internal communication system. All hands, this is the Colonel. In 10 minutes, we will reveal ourselves to the Galactic Council. For too long, they have treated humanity as a joke. Today, that ends. Today, we show them what humans are really capable of. Stay sharp, stay ready, and remember, we do this not just for ourselves, but for every human who dreams of reaching the stars. 5 minutes until stealth field disengagement. The bridge crew sat quietly at their stations, hands steady on their controls. Outside, alien ships continued their normal patrols, completely unaware that death was floating silently among them. Ryan looked at the screen showing the alien station. In a few minutes, every being in that station would be staring at his ship, in shock and fear. The age of human jokes was ending. The age of human power was about to begin. Back in the council meeting room, Ambassador Vex Calor was getting more excited as he continued his speech about humans. The other aliens were hanging on every word, enjoying every joke he made about Earth and its people. The most silly thing About humans, Vex Collar said with a big grin, is that they think they have a real military. They have boats that float on water and airplanes that need air to fly. Can you imagine anything more backward? The scary-looking Draknari general, Crossback, leaned forward in his metal chair. His battle armor made grinding sounds as he moved. Tell us about their space weapons. Do they have any real firepower at all? Nothing worth worrying about, Vex Collar laughed. They have some satellites with tiny rockets. A single patrol ship could destroy everything they have in space in about 5 minutes. Jake Morrison felt his secret phone buzz in his pocket. He looked down carefully and read the message. 5 minutes remaining. Jake caught Amy Foster's eye and gave her a small nod. She understood and began moving slowly toward the emergency communication area. If things went bad very quickly, she would need to contact Earth right away. My fellow council members, Vex Collar announced, spreading his crystal arms wide, I think we can all agree the humans pose no threat to anyone. They are amusing to watch, but completely harmless. The insect-like alien queen clicked her sharp teeth together. The hive agrees. Humans might make good workers someday, but they will never be real citizens of the galaxy. The huge rock-like Gorvani delegate spoke in a voice like grinding stones. They are too stupid for real civilization. We should keep watching them like we watch animals in a zoo. General Crossback stood up, his scarred face twisted into a mean smile. The Draknari Empire agrees that humans are no threat. But I have a suggestion. The room got quiet. When the Draknari made suggestions, people usually died. These humans are breeding too fast, the general continued. Soon they will use up all the resources on their little planet. I suggest we help them by reducing their population. The Draknari volunteer to handle this job. Jake's blood went cold. The general wasn't just talking about keeping humans down. He was talking about killing billions of people like it was no big deal. Jake's phone buzzed again. 60 seconds. Jake quickly activated his emergency transmitter, sending a coded message to Earth Command. Aliens planning genocide. Recommend full response. The message was short, but Admiral Rodriguez would understand. The aliens weren't just laughing at humans anymore. They were planning to murder them. Vex Collar held up his hand for quiet. Before we vote on the general's interesting proposal, I thought you might enjoy some entertainment. A big holographic screen appeared in the center of the room, showing fuzzy pictures of human spaceships near Mars. The images were clearly taken by alien spy probes. Watch how they struggle with simple navigation, Vex Collar said, pointing at the screen. Look at their primitive ship designs. This is a species that thinks chemical rockets are high technology. The aliens were so busy laughing at the pictures that none of them noticed something strange happening. The space station's artificial gravity flickered slightly. There was a tiny vibration in the floor that lasted only a second. But Jake noticed. He had been trained to pay attention to small details, and he knew that something big was happening outside the station. Observe their clumsy docking procedures, Vex Collar continued. It takes them hours to do what we can accomplish in minutes. And they're proud of this. More alien laughter filled the room. Some of them were laughing so hard they were making choking sounds. Jake's phone showed one final message. Showtime. At that exact moment, alarms started going off throughout the space station. Red lights began flashing, and a computer voice began speaking in the common galactic language. Alert! Unknown vessel detected. Alert! Unknown vessel detected. The laughter stopped immediately. Every alien in the room turned to look at the main display screen, which was now showing the view outside the station. Where there had been empty space just seconds before, there was now a ship, but this wasn't just any ship. It was enormous, longer than some space stations. Its hull was dark and angular, covered with strange panels that seemed to absorb light. Along its sides, Weapon ports glowed with barely contained energy, and painted clearly on its hull were symbols that every species in the galaxy recognized. The flag of Earth and the eagle of humanity. The council chamber fell completely silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Impossible, Vexcaller whispered, his crystal skin losing its bright glow. Humans don't have ships like that. General Crossback's scarred face went pale. It's a trick. Some other species is pretending to be human to fool us. The station's communications officer, a nervous bird-like alien, announced over the intercom, "Council chamber. The unknown vessel is sending us a message. They want to speak to the council." Want to speak? General Crossback laughed, but it sounded forced. No one demands to speak to the Galactic Council. They ask permission, or they get destroyed. Jake Morrison stood up in his observation booth. His voice carried clearly across the suddenly quiet room. Actually, General, we're not asking for anything. Every alien head turned to stare at him. Jake activated his communicator and spoke clearly in English, knowing that the translation systems would carry his words to every being in the room. "Colonel Murphy, this is Captain Morrison. The council is ready to receive you." A new voice filled the chamber, calm, professional, and completely confident. "Council representatives, this is Colonel Ryan Murphy of the United Earth Ship Shadow Strike. We've been listening to your discussion about humanity's future, and we thought it was time to introduce ourselves properly." The main screen split to show both the outside view of the massive human warship and a new image, Colonel Murphy standing on what was clearly an advanced starship bridge, surrounded by technology that made the Council's equipment look like toys. "For the past 3 months," Murphy continued, "my ship has been stationed right outside your station, completely invisible to your sensors. We've recorded every meeting, every joke, and every threat you've made against my species. The implications hit the Council like a physical blow. If humans could build ships that their best sensors couldn't detect, what else were they hiding?" The first alien to notice something was wrong was a young Mokari technician working in the station sensor room. His tentacles were shaking as he stared at his computer screen, not believing what he was seeing. "Supervisor," he called out in his musical language, "I'm getting a massive energy reading." It just appeared out of nowhere. The supervisor, an old Mokari who had been watching space for 40 years, came over to look. When he saw the readings, his skin changed colors rapidly, a sign of extreme fear among his people. "Sound the alarm." "Immediately," he ordered. "There's a huge ship right next to us. How did it get there without us seeing it?" Back in the council chamber, Vexcaller was just about to start the vote on killing billions of humans when the alarms began screaming. Throughout the station, the main display screen flickered and changed, showing the space around the station. Every alien in the room gasped at the same time. Where empty space had been just moments before, a massive warship now floated in the darkness. The ship was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Its black hull seemed to eat light and rose. Of weapons glowed like angry eyes along its sides. Most shocking of all, as symbols of Earth were painted clearly on its hull for everyone to see. The chamber became deadly quiet. "That's impossible," Vexcaller whispered, his crystal body growing dim with shock. "Humans don't have technology like that." General Crossback's scarred face twisted with rage. "It's fake. Someone else built that ship and put human markings on it to trick us." The station's communication officer, a nervous Talarian with feathers, instead of hair, spoke over the intercom with a shaky voice. "Council chamber, the ship is sending us a message. They want to talk to you." "Want to talk?" General Crossback laughed, but his laugh sounded scared. "Nobody tells the Galactic Council what to do. They beg for permission, or we blow them up." Jake Morrison stood up in his observation area. Every alien eye turned to look at him. He spoke clearly in English, knowing the translation computers would carry his words to everyone. Actually, General, we stopped asking for permission a long time ago. Jake activated his communicator. Colonel Murphy, this is Captain Morrison. The Council is listening. A new voice filled the room, calm, confident, and completely unafraid. Members of the Galactic Council, this is Colonel Ryan Murphy of the United Earthship Shadow Strike. We've been listening to your meeting about humanity's future, and we decided it was time to join the conversation. The main screen split to show both the outside view of the huge human ship and Colonel Murphy standing on an advanced bridge. The technology behind him looked more advanced than anything the Council had ever seen. For the past 3 months, Murphy continued, my ship has been parked 3 kilometers from your station, completely hidden from your sensors. We've recorded every word you've said about my species, including your plans to murder 4 billion innocent people. Vex Caller's crystal skin flickered rapidly. Impossible. Our sensors are the best in the galaxy. No stealth technology exists that could hide from us. Murphy smiled, and it wasn't a friendly smile. Ambassador Vex Caller, if your technology is so advanced, how did we park a 2-kilometer warship in your front yard for 3 months without you noticing? The question hit the Council like a slap in the face. If humans could build invisible ships this advanced, what else had they been hiding? Dr. Kate Williams stepped into view on the screen. Honorable Council members, I'm Dr. Kate Williams, Chief Science Officer. Would you like to see a demonstration of human technology? She didn't wait for anyone to answer. Weapons Officer, Colonel Murphy said calmly, target the abandoned mining asteroid at coordinates 479 Mark 15. Single quantum torpedo, low power setting. The Council members scrambled to check their displays, looking for the target Murphy had chosen. They found it, a chunk of metal and rock about the size of a city block, floating alone in the outer system. It was worthless junk that nobody cared about. On the main screen, they watched as something shot out from the human ship toward the distant asteroid. The weapon moved faster than anything they had ever seen, crossing millions of kilometers in just seconds. When it hit the asteroid, something incredible happened. The rock didn't just explode, it vanished. One moment there was a solid piece of metal and stone. The next moment there was nothing but empty space and fading energy. Nobody in the Council chamber made a sound. That was a quantum torpedo, Dr. Williams explained like she was teaching children. It doesn't just blow things up. It turns matter directly into energy. We have 480 of those weapons on this ship, plus other systems you'll find very interesting. General Crossback activated his communicator with shaking hands. Battle Group 7, report your status now. A panicked voice came back. General, our sensors show nothing where our dreadnought squadron should be. They were guarding the outer area, but now they're just gone. Colonel Murphy's voice carried a note of mild interest. Oh, you mean these ships? The screen changed to show 5 enormous Draknari warships floating dead in space. Each ship was over 1 kilometer long and normally carried enough weapons to destroy planets. But now they were dark and lifeless. No lights, no power, no movement. Don't worry, Murphy said casually. Your crews are still alive. We just turned off their ships using electromagnetic pulse weapons. They're running on emergency life support right now, probably wondering why nothing works anymore. General Crossback reached for his weapon, but Jake Morrison was already moving. Before the alien general could draw his gun, Jake had his own pistol, pressed against the alien's temple. I wouldn't do that, General, Jake said quietly, especially since you were just talking about murdering my entire species 5 minutes ago. Vex Caller's crystal body was flickering like a broken light. What do you want from us? Admiral Helen Rodriguez appeared on another part of the screen, clearly speaking from Earth Command. What we want is very simple, Ambassador. Humanity is no longer part of your protection program. We're establishing our own territory, and we expect you to respect our independence. The Insect Queen's translator crackled. You cannot just declare independence from the Council. There are rules and procedures. Your procedures, Admiral Rodriguez replied coldly, included planning genocide against 4 billion humans. I think we're past worrying about paperwork. Colonel Murphy stepped forward on the screen, but we're not unreasonable. Humanity is willing to live in peace with any species that respects our right to exist. We're even prepared to share some of our technology through fair trade agreements. He paused to let that sink in before delivering the final blow. But let me be crystal clear about one thing. The days of treating humanity like pets or pests are over forever. We've been watching you, studying you, and preparing for this day. We know where every one of your worlds is located, where your military bases are hidden, where your secret installations operate. Dr. Williams added, our stealth technology makes us invisible to your best sensors, and our weapons are about 200 years ahead of anything you currently have. The chamber filled with panicked alien voices as the full meaning became clear. If humans could stay hidden while gathering information, nowhere in the galaxy was safe. Admiral Rodriguez raised her hand for silence. Captain Morrison will now present our formal proposal for restructuring galactic relations. The age of alien supremacy was ending, and everyone in the room knew it. Jake Morrison walked to the center of the council chamber, feeling every alien eye watching his every move. In his hand, he carried a small data crystal that would change the galaxy forever. The aliens who had been laughing at humans just minutes ago were now sitting in stunned silence. The proposal is simple, Jake said, his voice carrying clearly through the vast room. Humanity will take a seat on the Galactic Council as an equal member, not as some primitive species under your protection. He looked directly at General Crossvac, whose scarred face had gone pale with fear. Any attack against Earth or human colonies will be considered an act of war. And most importantly, any species that tries to harm humanity will learn exactly how advanced our military really is. Vex Collar's crystal body was still flickering with distress. You cannot simply demand a seat on the council. There are tests, evaluations, requirements that must be met. Colonel Murphy's voice came through the speakers, calm and steady. Ambassador, we just demonstrated technology that's centuries ahead of yours. We've been invisible to your best sensors for months. We disabled your most powerful warships without firing a shot. What more evaluation do you need? This is outrageous, squeaked the Tellarian communication officer. The Council has maintained order in this galaxy for thousands of years. You cannot just appear and demand to change everything. Admiral Rodriguez spoke from Earth Command, her voice carrying the authority of someone used to making life and death decisions. We're not demanding anything. We're informing you of the new reality. Humanity is now a galactic power, whether you like it or not. Dr. Williams appeared on the screen again, holding a tablet full of data. We've been very busy while you thought we were primitive. Would you like to know what else we've built? She didn't wait for an answer. We have 12 ships like the Shadow Strike already completed, with 20 more under construction. We have established hidden bases in 7 star systems. We have developed weapons that make quantum torpedoes look like toys. The chamber erupted in panicked whispers. Aliens were frantically checking their personal communicators, trying to contact their homeworlds and military commanders. General Crossback finally found his voice. You're bluffing. No species could develop such capabilities without us knowing. Really? Murphy replied. Your own sensors couldn't detect one ship sitting right next to your most important station. How would you know what we've been building in star systems you've never even visited? The massive Gorvani delegate, who looked like a walking mountain, spoke in his grinding voice. If what you say is true, what stops you from conquering us all? Because that's not who we are, Admiral Rodriguez answered firmly. Humans don't want to rule the galaxy. We just want our place in it. We want to explore, to learn, to trade, to make friends with other species. She paused, letting that sink in before continuing. But we will not be anyone's pets, and we will not tolerate threats against our people. Jake placed the data crystal on the council table. This contains our complete proposal for galactic relations. We suggest you read it carefully. The insect queen clicked her teeth nervously. What if the council refuses your proposal? Colonel Murphy's image leaned forward slightly on the screen. Then you'll discover that humans can be very persuasive when we need to be. As if on cue, the lights in the chamber dimmed slightly, and a low vibration ran through the station's hull. Every alien looked around nervously, realizing that the human ship could probably tear their station apart if it wanted to. Of course, Doctor. Williams added cheerfully, we'd much rather work together. Human technology could solve many of the problems that have been troubling the galaxy for centuries. Vex Calor's curiosity overcame his fear. What kind of problems? Disease, for one, she replied. Our medical research has found cures for 17 different plagues that have been killing people across the galaxy. We'd be happy to share that knowledge with species that treat us as friends. Energy production is another, Murphy added. We've developed clean fusion reactors that could power entire civilizations without polluting their worlds. The aliens began murmuring among themselves. The offer of advanced technology was tempting, but the threat of human military power was terrifying. There's something else you should know, Admiral Rodriguez said. While you've been meeting here today, human ships have been visiting other species throughout the galaxy. Many of them are very interested in what we have to offer. The Kalari have already signed a trade agreement with us, Doctor. Williams noted. So have the Vorthan Republic and the Free Worlds Alliance. It seems they appreciate being treated as equals rather than subjects. General Crossback slammed his fist on the table. This is impossible. We are the dominant powers in this galaxy. We have been for thousands of years. Were, Jake corrected quietly. You were the dominant powers. Now you have competition. The chamber fell silent again as the full meaning of the situation became clear. The old order was crumbling, and a new age was beginning. We'll need time to consider your proposal, Vex Calor said finally. Of course, Murphy replied. Take all the time you need. But remember, every day you delay is another day that other species are making agreements with humanity instead of with you. Admiral Rodriguez made the final announcement. The United Earth government is establishing formal diplomatic relations with any species that wants them. Our embassy ship will arrive at this station in 1 week to begin negotiations. The screen went dark, but the shadow strike remained visible through the chamber's windows. A 2-kilometer reminder that humanity was no longer the galaxy's joke. 6 months later, Ambassador Jake Morrison sat in his new office aboard humanity's first diplomatic station, reviewing reports from across the galaxy. 3 species had tested human resolve and learned painful lessons. But most had chosen cooperation over conflict. Trade was booming. Joint research projects were underway, and several species had actually requested human protection from aggressive neighbors. Amy Foster, now promoted to commander, entered with the daily briefings. The Zenthari have requested our help with their border dispute. Apparently, our reputation for effective negotiation has spread, Jake smiled. And the Draknari? General Crossback has been replaced. Their new ambassador wants to discuss mutual respect and cooperation. Jake nodded, looking out at the ships coming and going from the station. Human vessels worked alongside alien craft, exactly as it should be. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Never underestimate a species just because they haven't shown you all their cards. Humanity had been playing the long game all along. And now everyone knew it.